Hello and welcome to this video on variables in Java. In this video, we'll be learning about what are variables, the different types of variables, and a simple example to understand the difference. Finally, we'll also see the rules that are needed to be followed while providing the name for a variable. So let's start the video. A variable is a container which holds the value while a Java program is executed. A variable is assigned with a data type. Variable is like the name of a memory location. To be more precise, a variable is the name of a reserved area allocated in the memory. So there are different types of data types available to initialize any variable. So we'll be learning about these data types in the next videos. For now, we'll be concentrating on numbers, which are nothing but integers as variables. And once you learn data types, you'll have a broader understanding of the topics. So coming to the types of variables in Java. So there are three types of variables: local variable, instance variable, and static variable. Let us take a simple example to understand the difference between them. So now I opened my VS Code and created a new file called testmain.java. So now I'm going to create a class. I'll make sure the class is also public class testmain. If you remember the previous video, we told you that the main class has to be the same name as the filing convention that you have used. Now I'll be initializing my public static void main. Now I'll be additionally adding a function, or also called as methods, to this particular class called void method. So now this is my basic structure of program in which I'm going to explain the different types of variables. Coming to first the local variable. A variable declared inside of a body of a method is called local variable. You can use this variable only within that method, and the other methods in the class aren't even aware that the variable exists. A local variable cannot be defined with a static keyword. So to understand easily, we need to initialize a variable int, which is nothing but for an integer value. So I'll be naming that a, and I'll be initializing the value 50. So now I've initialized a variable a equal to 50. So now this is nothing but a local variable. So to understand in much more simpler concepts, we need to understand that the variable a has a scope only inside this method, and you cannot access this value a outside of this method. For example, if I'm declaring another method called method2 and try to access the value of a, you will not be able to access that because the scope of this variable is within this method. So coming to the next variable is the instance variable. A variable declared inside the class but outside of the body of the method is called an instance variable. This is also not declared as static. It is called as an instance variable because its value is instance specific and is not shared among the instance. So now to understand instance variable, I'll be declaring a variable called int b and assigning a value 20 to it. Now this variable is called instance variable. This variable is called instance variable because I'm initializing inside the main function, and only one instance of this variable can exist inside the main function. I cannot declare another main method and have a variable b, because a program can have only one main method and that main method will hold the value of b. So that is instance variable. Coming to the last type, static variable. A variable that is declared as static is called as a static variable. It cannot be local. You can create a single copy of the static variable and share among all the instances of the class. Memory allocation for static variable happens only once, when the class is loaded in the memory. So now to understand in code, I'll be initializing a variable on top of the method function, static int c equal to 30. So now if you can see it clearly, I have declared this as a static variable, meaning this variable is now accessible for the method function and also the main function and any function that I'm declaring inside this class. So this becomes a static variable because only one type of C can exist common for all the methods including the main method. So this is called static method. Note that if you assign a value to any existing variable, it will be overridden by the previous value. For example, if I overwrite my b value as 40, when I try to use the variable b after rewriting this value of b, it is going to take only the value 40 because the value 20 will be overridden by the value 40. And in cases where you do not want to change the value like this, you can initialize the word final before any of the variables, so that now you see there is an error occurring here. So because I cannot change the value of b now, and it is acting like a constant variable. So now let's see the rules that are needed to be followed to declare a variable. A variable name can consist of capital letter A to Z or lowercase letter, any numbers, and two special characters such as underscore and $sign. Other than that, any special character will be declared as some purpose in the program. So stick with underscore is much more preferable. So I have declared this variable as b or a. I can declare it as capital B now, or I'll have a capital B and followed by the value 1. The first letter should never be a number, meaning I cannot have 1b because this is invalid variable. Blank spaces cannot be used in variable name. If I want to declare a variable like local instance, I cannot write it as local space instance because this space will not be detected by the program to understand that this is a variable name. For that, instead you can replace it with an underscore so that it's considered as a single word, yet a person who is coding would know that underscore as a space. Java keywords cannot be used as variable name. I cannot have a variable name as int itself because it will be considered as a data type instance and not as a variable. Variable names are case sensitive. So a variable named capital B is completely different from a variable named small b. There is no limit on the length of variable name, but it should be between 4 to 15 characters. You cannot have a very large variable name that is greater than 15 characters. So variable names always should exist on the left hand side of the assignment operator. I need to initialize b equal to 20 and not 20 equal to b because the leftmost side of the operator always has the power to store the values of the variable. So to summarize, in this video we saw what are variables, the different types of variables that are available, and an example to understand them better. We also saw the naming convention that has to be followed so that the variables are identified properly by the system. Thank you.